Are you wanting to create a highly prosperous photography business doing what you love? Or maybe you have a great business already and want to up your game? Then you're in the right place. Master craftsman photographer Luci Dumas and her guests are here to support you on your journey. Now here's your hostess and tour guide, Luci.
Storms make trees take deeper roots. And that is my guest today's favorite quote, and it's by Dolly Parton. I'm super excited that you've logged in today, and my commitment is to stay energetic because I've noticed lately I've been getting kind of relaxed, and also to give my guest more of the floor and not just blab all the time. So thought I'd put that out there. It's good to have goals. And thank you so much for subscribing, both YouTube and whatever your favorite podcast app should be, because we want people to keep finding us. And if you like this show, I need the encouragement so that I can keep going at 275 episodes and counting. It's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love. All right, so let me tell you about the amazing Jen Hargrove. I've never met her, but she is involved in all the things that I value. So we've been flying on different planes, but in the same direction. She is, first of all, she's an incredible photographer. And if you go to her website, you'll be like, wow, yep, you're right, Luci. So I encourage that. She specializes in, and she's going to explain this for us, fine art, character, pet and child portraiture, as well as waterscapes and abstracts. She's in business for 12 years. Full-time living, no giant other income flowing her way. And so I always want people to know how possible it is to make a great living in this industry. Okay, now, she's a PPA Master of Photography, Craftsman, Master Artist, Certified Professional Photographer, as well as an MPI Master of Portraiture. I'm not sure what that is. A WPPI Associate. She currently is serving as president of the IPPA Board of Directors. What is the IPPA, Jen?
It's the Intermountain Professional Photographers.
Okay, so her region. She lives in Wyoming, so she's surrounded by beauty, and she's very active in our profession. She believes also in the importance of continuing education and entering print competitions, as well as helping others and teaching others. Welcome, Jen. Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So my first question is, why are you involved so deeply in your regional organization, Professional Photography of America, print competition? How has that all benefited you professionally and personally? I know that could be a whole show.
Well, yeah, it could. We could take all day to tell. IPPA in itself, they're my family. I wanted to quit. I did my first print competition with IPPA, didn't merit anything. They had a turnaround, they changed the dates of their convention, had it a few months later. And I listened to the judges because I am very thick-skinned when it comes to print competition, but I'm a sponge. You tell me, I'm there to learn. And you give me constructive criticism and I'm going to listen to it. And I learned, and I was photographer of the year the next competition. But I went from a negative income. I was making no money with photography at all. And I was a natural light photographer. I understand there are natural light photographers that do amazing work, but I was one of them that I was a natural light photographer because I had no idea how to use control lighting. I just pointed the camera at somebody and everything was flat lighting if you saw my work that I entered my first competition, you'd understand. And some people questioned whether they were my images the second go round. And my husband said, hey, but we opened me a studio right after that competition in our little town in an old auto parts store. 7.5 foot ceilings.
Wow.
And my business exploded when I did that, because my husband goes to work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he worked 12-hour days. And I pretty much lived in that studio, and I just ate, breathed, and slept it. But the IPPA, they would not let me quit that first go round. But they've been my family. I started serving on their board the second year I was a member, and I've just been on the board since.
So how does entering print competition, because obviously you do it on a national level, and just to let people know, those degrees that she earned from entering in the Professional Photographers of America's print competitions. And there's ways that you earn these degrees by your scores and doing service, etc. So how has all of that helped you specifically in your business?
It exploded after that, because I was listening to what those judges said. So I was taking that and I was applying it to my work, because I use client work. That's what I was entering, was client work. And so my client work was just improving every single competition, because I was obsessed with competition. I was doing the first full year I did competition, I did 32 competitions.
Wow.
And around different affiliates. And then one year I did, when we were still doing districts and could enter other districts, I did 3 districts to test my images, to find out, because I'm a very analytical person. I'm a very type A person.
Mhm.
And I had spreadsheets. I was tracking my scores and what judges were saying and things like that. And so I wanted those degrees. I wanted them. And so it was almost like a chess game for me. Like, let's move this here. This one's doing better here. This is the average. If it scored a 79 twice, it was done. I reshot it, or it was done. Things like that. So, but my business exploded because my work was improving so quickly.
So what I am hearing is, by having these goals of getting good scores so that eventually you could get masters and master of fine art, it helped you at every session look for ways to make it just a little bit better. So then your work got better and clients could see that. So yeah, I think people can sometimes get caught up in like, well, our clients don't care about our degrees. And yeah, I like being able to say I'm a master craftsman photographer. It doesn't hurt. And there are people that, if they come to your studio and they see the beautiful gilded degree framed, and then they're like, what is that? It helps them see that we're committed to our profession. What I think I'm hearing you say, and what I love, is that it has made you a better photographer. And because you're good at marketing and sales, you've been able to take advantage of that. Because I know people whose work is unfreaking believable. Like, I can't sleep at night thinking about their work, who are broke. So I love that you also have, is it a background in sales and marketing? I think you mentioned that.
I did have a background in marketing, and that's the thing, because I was using client work. I learned to market my print competition. My clients, I was targeting clients that would want to be in competition images. And I loved it when they changed the rule that you could use the same subject more than once, as long as it was a different session. Because I have clients that were like, you could use my dog 4 times. You could use my kid 4 times. They would bring them in multiple times, hoping to get them in the loan book more than once.
Wow.
My clients, I would gift them a print with them if they were a merit or if they were a loan. And if they were a loan, I would gift them a book with them on the cover. They wanted that. So they were coming in for these sessions, but to be considered for a competition image, they had to commission a fine art print that gave me that reason to take it to that next level for the editing. And I learned to do that. And I only take 4 full sessions a month.
Mhm.
So they were eating all of those up. They were taking all of those.
I have never heard of somebody using the print competition as a way to get work. That's amazing.
So, and I had a client that her dog was on the loan book. Her dog was her baby. Her dog it was probably worth more than my wedding band and engagement ring, but had actual precious stones in her collar. And she has a tiara.
Oh,
And I have 2 loan images. I actually earned my degree. The last image for my degree, my master's, was with her dog. But I have 2 loan images with her dog, and she brought that dog in all the time, trying to get her in the loan book. But she bought several loan books to give to people for gifts because her dog was on the cover. I made money on the loan books.
and you made money on the sessions each time.
On the sessions.
And they have to get, every time they have to get an art piece in order to be.
Yes, they have to commission an art piece.
What happens if you don't get an image that is worthy of print competition?
I hope I do. I've been lucky in my career that at least at the state level, I usually can pull a merit at the state level out of an image.
Okay.
And they know that all of them they knew that only 4 were going to go. They knew only 4 were going to go.
Okay.
So with the new IPC, it's different.
If you say to them, I'm going to enter it, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the judging's the judging.
Spin the wheel, take your chances.
They know I have no control over what happens. They
Okay.
know every panel's different.
Mhm.
And the owner of the dog that bought all the loan books, she knows one panel gave it an 86, one gave it 100. So she knows every panel is different. She understands how it works. She's really good. That dog, unfortunately, is no longer with us. She has another dog that is actually at IPC right now.
Oh.
So can't say too much.
IPC is International Print Competition.
When I say WPPI, I need to change that because it's now Icon Associate, because that's been changed. But those are both international, and those are outside of PPA because I needed to push myself a little harder and needed to push myself outside the box, which a lot of the PPA photographers do. A lot of them are part of it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still entering. I mean, PPA. I still teach PPA classes, and I'm still PPA. So
are you teaching?
I'm actually a JIT now as well.
Okay, you got a lot of initials.
I get to start judging now, so that's really fun. I've been judging, but now I get to do a little more official judging.
I probably judged 100 times, but I'm approved in California for the ones I've taken the classes, but it's not official.
Judging and teaching in California is on my bucket list.
All right, well, let's fill that bucket. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of your superpowers that I want to learn more about is how you sell fine art mini sessions and turn them into high profit sessions. And I'm going to say I'm generally not a fan for most people of mini sessions. I think as a lot of people do them, they can cannibalize potentially great sessions, especially like holiday sessions, fall sessions, things where people would normally be coming to us for full sessions, having, Christmas minis or something, if it's not done right, can create a lot of work for very little profit and profit loss. But I'm guessing you have some secret to having minis turn into big bucks. So tell me about that.
It's 2 parts. We have one word we always use with them. We call them keepsakes. We never call them a mini session, ever. We use them into that word internally, but they're keepsake sessions. And the second is then we also have our limited edition keepsake sessions. And that's where we make the really, really big money. That's where we charge like $1,500 for a 15-minute session. And we're actually doing a bunch of those. But where we really, 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 what we tend to attach a lot of our keepsake sessions now to fundraisers, is people are more likely to give you more money when they know some of it is going to benefit someone. And then we also get to donate. And it makes, because we donate a lot, like my preschools, we donate everything back. 100% of the profit goes back to the preschools. I don't make anything on those. And we usually lose quite a bit on the preschools, which I don't care. I just love photographing the preschools. It's fun. I get to hang out with kids for, 6 days a year. And I get to watch my husband try to navigate toddlers for 6 days a year, preschool 6 days a year.
When you're doing something like that, where you say it all goes back to the school, are you doing after sales, and does that money go back to the schools, or is it all of the initial?
It depends on who it is, who it's for. If it's for a private preschool, it's after sales. If it's for like a nonprofit, then everything goes to them. That's where we a lot of times lose money. Then we'll give everything back to them. Everything goes to them. We'll pay for printing and everything.
So your way of giving back is occasionally some worthy cause where you do it all for free. Look, I've done work for the foster San Diego County adoption, and all of it was for free. Can you walk me through the ones that are to make money step by step?
The profit, we tend to now, that's just our choice. That's what we have decided to do, just because I make good money. So we have chosen to attach them to fundraisers, whether we give 10% or we give 50% of it. It depends on what the organization is. That's what we're choosing to do, but we've always been able to sell them out. So it's never been an issue.
What I'm wanting to know is, what's the structure, first of all? What do they pay? How do they reach you? How do you sell after?
We do, when we put it out there, we're normally a referral-based business. So we put it out there to our established clients first.
Okay.
And it's rare that we don't book with our established clients. And because we don't do many of them. And then if there's anything left over, usually they refer somebody in. And it's very rare we put an ad out, but we will put an ad out. They will call us. We always talk to people. I don't get text to my phone, and I get a limited amount of time on the computer. And I do have a sales and booking rep, but she has children, things like that. So usually, if they're calling me, they can text her, and they have in the past. But people, honestly, they want to talk to someone. The human connection, we sell more with a human connection than we do without. And they will book us a bigger package at the beginning if they actually talk to us on the phone than they will through a text. Even with me, and I am a horrible salesperson. I will tell you right now, I am bad with sales. That's why I have a sales rep. And anyway, so we try to talk to them in person. And for our keepsake sessions, they have to pay 100% up front. It's a retainer. They could pay, some of them, they could pay $250 for the artist fee. And then we could have a minimum set. Or we have some that are booked, that we have fully booked for this winter, that are $1,500 a session. And those are our character portrait sessions. But those are attached to a fundraiser.
Jen, are you doing an event? Is it a mini session?
Those are an event.
Those
are an event.
Is it on certain days?
It is on certain days. And it's 3 days up front.
3 days, and they book within 3 days. And what do they pay? You said $250?
On this event, it's 1,500, and they get a 11 by 14 fine art print.
Okay. So it's a mini because you're doing quite a few within.
It's 15 minutes. It's a mini because we're doing 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it's all men. My character portraits are rarely with women, rarely, unless it's a service person but like I call my character portraits adult dress up or fully clothed boudoir. It's all the wives. It's all wives that booked these. Every single one of them, wives have booked them for their husbands.
I have never heard of this. So your mini sessions are not family portraits, children.
They are sometimes they are. I don't do family portraits unless I do a fundraiser. I am not a family portrait photographer. I have them on my website, things like that. I've done them. I do them for some of my clients, but it's rare. I don't do well with big groups. I do better with kids, dogs, and honestly with men. I don't know why. I can talk football. Maybe it's because I can talk football and sports with them, and they like these 15-minute sessions. They like to get in and out. It's in and out and we're done.
Okay. So I'm confused because you said it's all men, but sometimes it's not.
Well, with the character, if it's a lifestyle type character portrait, if it's a first responder, if it's a soldier, if it's a veteran, something like that, it might be a woman. It's very, very rare that it's a woman. Very, very rare. It's almost always men.
Okay. So what do you call these? Because it sounds like
fine art character portraits. When we booked them, I mean, it was just born from a mom watching it at one of our Christmas events for a fundraiser. My husband dressed up as Santa, and we were showing them some of the Santas, and she saw a project I'm doing. I can't really say what the project was because I have print comp images out there, and it would out me. But she saw this project, and she's like, I want my husband like that, not like real Santa. And so we did a whole session that, and then my son, I have a picture of my son. I mean, it's out there that I do sea captains and character portraits. She saw my husband on the back of my pop socket. My grandson's obsessed with it. And he was there. It was for the dance studio that my granddaughters dance at. She's like, oh, wait, I want him like that. And then Jeff Hedgecock from West Virginia, when I was talking to him about going out there to teach, saw the image of my husband, said he would look great as Rip from Yellowstone. And she goes, ooh, that too. And I mean, so all three events were born.
Wow.
She booked her husband in all three. He's not pleased, but he's doing it because he loves her, and she did boudoir for him.
So it's women are the ones that are booking you.
They're booking him for their husband.
Because not that the husbands want it, but the wives want these incredible.
They want happy wife, happy life type thing.
Yeah. The character studies of their husbands. So when their husbands are off in these dangerous jobs and things, they've got these cool portraits of the men that they love, that they're proud of.
Now, women will, I've noticed with the first responders and soldiers, women book them because they're proud of their husbands.
Right.
But when I have the men in there for the character portraits, when they're doing the adult dress up, as I call it, they're in there, they're having fun with it. It's a couple of them, it's like they're like, I got to be somebody else for a little while. It was kind of nice. And so we've just kind of been going on that. It's fantasy for a little bit, and it's fantasy for the women. Their husbands get to be somebody else for a little bit. I don't do anything period pieces. A couple of the women are like, you should do Thor. And I'm like, no, I don't, we're not going there. But we do Santa. We have like fisherman slickers. We have tons of pea coats. We have more and more biker gear. We have, just tons of stuff. And now we're getting Carhartts. Cowboy hats, we asked them to be theirs just because that's kind of who wants to put a gross cowboy hat on there that somebody else has worn? And so we tell them, just bring a gross baseball hat in, or something like that. But they and sometimes they'll bring their own stuff in and do it that way. But it's been fun. I mean, it's super fun for me. And but I'm a huge sports fan, so I get to sit there and talk to him. I ask the wives. I do now have a Q&A for the wives fill out. That the same one that I have my seniors fill out when I do my destination seniors, that I have the parents fill out for kids and dogs, things like that, are required before the session. I will not do the session unless I have it. But I know their favorite sports teams, things like that. So I could have something to talk to him about.
Okay, that's great. So,
yeah.
So what I'm hearing is it's not like if someone's husband is in the Navy, they wear their Navy uniform.
They can.
Okay, but overall,
Mm-hmm.
it's there being someone else. So you have
Mm-hmm.
firemen,
Most of the time,
first responders, construction workers, cowboys,
mm-hmm.
and it's sort of like fairy portraits for men that their women will love. How cool is that? That is a niche.
It's fun. It's fun.
Where did you get that idea?
So I was already doing first responders and military and things like that. I was already doing some like actual, I call it the lifestyle character portraits. Because I was photographing a lot of firemen and things like that. But my husband works in the oil field, and he wasn't allowed to grow a beard most of our marriage. And I am obsessed with the ocean and lighthouses and things like that. And any movie about fishermen or anything like that. The Finest Hours is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And The Perfect Storm, things like that. And my husband got to finally grow a beard. They changed their policy. He got to grow a beard. And we were getting ready to go to Oregon, and because we spend a lot of time in Oregon. And he walked in our bedroom and stood under the light of our ceiling fan and with his beard, and just at the right angle. And I looked at him, and on the way back from Oregon, we were going to be teaching. I was teaching a class with MJ Morgan from Utah. And I looked at him and I was like, honey. And he was like, no, I can see the wheel spinning. And I was like, how much do you love me? And he goes, I love you more than anything. That's why I haven't smothered you with a pillow yet. He's like, but I'm going to, I think. He says, I think I'm going to want to. He's like, what is spinning in that head? And I said, he goes, I know he says, as soon as I walked under the light, your face just went. I was like, oh, honey, you look like a lighthouse keeper or a sea captain. And he's like, Jen. And I was like, would you please, please, please? And I tried to shoot some stuff in Oregon, but he's my light guy. He's my Val, my voice activated light stand.
I want people to catch that because it's fun. Voice activated light stand, which means a human holding the lights.
A human, yeah.
One of my favorite things. So I just wanted people to get what you mean.
So he's my Val.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my Val. And he and I said, if it doesn't work, I said, I still need another model for my I was with Kent Shelton, sorry, not MJ Morgan. I said, I still need another model for my class with Kent. I said, please, I've never asked you to do this before. Please, I'm begging you. And I said, because I could see the image. I could see it in my head. And he's like, Jen, no, please. And I was like, please, it'll just be, I said, there's not even going to be people there. It was during COVID. I said, it's going to be over Zoom. Please, and it'll help me relax because I'm not good over video and Zoom and stuff. So he's like, fine. I said, there's gonna be a dog, and Diane's daughter is gonna do it too. So it'll only be for a few minutes. And my very first image, I got the one and it was my light test. I got the one that was in my brain. I mean, I cried. I think Kent Shelton was doing all the voice instruction. I was just shooting, and he was the one in front of the camera or in front of the video. And because I cried, it was ended up a lone image. First, I mean, I sobbed, and when it went through and got lone, and it's still to this day my favorite image I've ever photographed. And it just exploded. And I had other photographers ask me I was like, I'm thinking about doing this project, and it became a project, and then clients started asking if, can you make my husband a sea captain? And the sea captains just exploded. And we ended up like traveling the US photographing sea captains. And then Santa started calling me. And then people start, my husband kind of looks like Santa. And we had all these Santa suits when I did Santa sessions. We're like, let's do Santas too. And then I just started buying more and more stuff started going. And it just exploded. And I mean, I still make a lot of, I have a lot of clients. Take the same number of high-end dogs, but I was still doing the fine art as far as, and I still do, have my kids, the fine art with my kids and things like that. And because I do a dance studio and I do the fine art part of it. And I bring Adilpha Ford from Utah and MJ Morgan in, and they do the other part of it, the rest of it. And I do my fine art, my abstracts and my waterfalls and my sea waves and stuff. But the character portraits just exploded. And now I'm teaching on it. I'm traveling to teach on character portraits. So, but it's great because they're almost every single one of them are keepsake sessions. They're almost all short sessions. The guys don't want to be in front of the camera very long.
Right.
And so it's appealing to them. And the wives know their husband. It makes the husband happy when she's like, you only have to be in front of the camera like 15 minutes. And so they'll pay whatever to keep the husband happy too. So anyway, but we always offer a product with it, with the amount. If it's above $500, they get something attached to it. So
like what?
It like the $1,500, because we're giving a portion of it away, they got the 11 by 14 fine art print. And so, which my framer loves because they're going to go to him to frame it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who we refer them to. Go to him and he'll frame it for you.
How about the $250?
The $250, we don't attach anything. That's artist fee. That's always artist fee.
And how do you make money from it then?
That's when my sales and that's when she takes over and she makes commission and she is good at selling. She can outsell me every day of the week. I mean, she's brilliant. She is brilliant.
I love it.
And I pay her 25% commission but she knows that's where her income is based off of. And she has 4 children, 2 daughters that do dance, and she has 4 horses. And that's how she pays for her daughter's dance and the horses. So yeah, she makes sure to make her money. So yeah, she's a brilliant sales rep.
So moving on to another part of your experiences and wisdom that I think people are really curious about, which is how you make income using your personal work outside of your day-to-day business.
Well, I do have an Etsy shop that is not attached to my actual name. I work under a pen name. I put stuff in galleries and in boutiques.
How do you get those in galleries and boutiques?
I have a book that I update every so often, and I take that to them. I tell them the medium the sizes in the medium it's available, and they ask for it. They just ask for what they want. And so we print it and we take it to them, and then they put it up there. We had one image that it took about 4 months to sell, and I have one that's been there for about a year. It's not a big deal if you know how long it's there. And then I do have stuff on Fine Art America, and I know we have income coming in from that, and it's, it is what it is. And there's stuff on my website, but I sell a lot to my fine art or to my high-end clients. And one of them has my entire series of, I call them it's the Lonely Waves or something like that. I can't remember what we call them. Which I add to it all the time. Every so often I see a sad little lonely wave, I add to it, and I show her, and she's like, I want it,
It's a lonely wave.
It's kind of like It's just like a single little wave out in the ocean by itself. It's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And it's just like a little teeny tiny wave. I think the last one I did was called Ghost. And I had one, it was like the last wave of winter or something like that. And I just I'll see one and you'll have all these waves, and then out in the distance I'll have one that's just kind of you'll just see it, and I just crop in on it and I paint it and turn it to black and white, and it's there. It's just a nice little fun series. I had some images from our honeymoon that I did that too. And from like 10 years ago when I started doing Photoshop painting.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw the series, and there's 3 in the series at the time, and I think there's like 7 in there now. But I just every so often I'll see one, and she's great about it, or
Yeah.
getting them. She just loves them. But it's just a fun little thing. I don't always do it.
I love that there's ways that you're finding to sell the
Mm-hmm.
work that you do
Mm-hmm.
for your own satisfaction and creativity.
I donate to different charities for their, like when they have giveaways, so that people see that I'm not just a portrait photographer. When they want stuff, I don't do, I very once in a while, like the CDC, the Child Developmental Center, I will give them a wildlife image because I know those bring in a lot. But they always get it like a waterfall or 2 or something like that, because then people know I do those, and then they'll call and be like, what else do you have?
Mm.
And so, but I'm lucky. I mean, I'm close to Jackson Hole. I'm close,
Yeah.
We've got Sun Valley, Idaho. We've got Big Sky, Montana that's close. And then we're in Oregon all the time.
Mm.
And we've kind of become a locals in Bandon were there so much. So, we've gotten to know a lot of people on the coasts. And I'm actually talking to one of the bed and breakfasts on the coast up close to Cannon Beach about doing some stuff in their B&B. So, which is fun. And because I've got so much stuff done in Oregon, it's all local in Oregon. And they like things that are local.
So you sound like somebody that is just full of energy and ideas and follow through on them. And you've got support, like you've got people doing the sales or a person so that you can diversify and gain income from multiple ways, which often is really hard for most
Mm-hmm.
people. But somehow you've got the energy and and you're entering print competition, that you're a very driven, in a wonderful way, person. Do you think I got that right about you?
I would hope so. The best thing I ever did for my business was stepping away from the sales end. My high end dogs, they're all pre-sold. They're all pre-sale. So I know what I'm shooting for because it's just the way it's structured. But so my sales rep doesn't handle that. And but that's just I do 12 of those a year is all I do. So she doesn't need to handle those. But the best thing I did was turning that over to her. And but she handles everything else with my on the portrait end.
When I'm coaching people, because and I didn't mention before now that you do one-on-one coaching for people and you teach all over the place. So when I'm coaching, I call it the cake and cringe pyramid, where you draw a pyramid and then you draw a line down the middle, and then you divide that in 3s. And each section, one side is your cake, which is you love doing it, or you like doing it, or you don't mind doing it. That's up at the top, love, and then like, and then it's fine. And the cringe is I really don't like this. I'm not that good at it. I'm okay at it, but I don't want to do it. And then I take it or leave it. So you fill that out, and then you look at the things on the cake side that you want to make sure you are doing. And on the cringe side, you look at what you can have someone else help you with. Now, there are some things
Yes.
we need to do ourselves on the cringe because that's just how business is. But what I hear from you is that you've found the things that you don't love and you're not good at, and you have somebody else handle
Mhm.
that. And that has increased your income and probably job satisfaction
Yes.
tremendously because you get to do the
Mhm.
cake stuff more and limit the cringe stuff. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yes. The cringe. I am very good at saying I'm not good at something. Like I am not a wedding photographer. I'm not a newborn photographer. I'm not a boudoir photographer. I am not honestly, I'm not a landscape photographer. I can photograph a simple waterfall and I can photograph if it involves water, I'm fairly decent with it as long as it's waves or waterfalls. And I'm a simple photographer. I do very simple work. I mean, like Jeff Johnson, the Bennetts, people like that, they blow me away what they can do with landscapes. I am not a landscape photographer. I'm wasting Wyoming, landscape away here. But I'm just, I'm very simple with what I do. And, I got my master artist painting simple waves, and compositing waves and painting them and with abstracts. I
Oh,
didn't get them compositing things. I can't think like they do.
mhm.
And so I leave that to other people. I let them do it. I'm not good at it. I don't do it. And I can admit to that. And I'm not good with sales because some people think, I come across sometimes, I'm very blunt. I'm very, I don't sugarcoat very well.
Mhm.
And with adults, with kids, I can sugarcoat all day long. But I'm very blunt and I'm very, I'm going to tell you how it is. And so it's one of those things that I need somebody that can be. But I was a single mom for years before I married my husband, but my kids were pretty much adults. My son was just a few months away from being an adult when I married my husband. So I still have that single mom mentality. So I try to save everybody money,
Mm.
even if they don't need to be saved. I'm like, ooh, let's see if we can get this for you cheaper. And my daughter, by the way, is my sales rep.
Ah,
And and it was her idea. I was going to pay her like $20 an hour. And she's like, no, pay me a commission. Are you crazy?
yeah.
She's like, I'm not going to earn it at $20 an hour. She's like, I'll be lazy. Give me a commission. She goes, plus I'll make a lot more with a commission. And so, so I brought her on because for one, I am not an overly trusting person. And I come across as one. People may think I trust them and I don't. And I'm cautious. So I trust her. But she wants nothing to do with the art at all. Her daughter does, but she doesn't. So I think it would be beneficial to everyone to give up anything in their business that doesn't bring them joy.
So what I'm hearing is, first of all, you want to know yourself. So like
Yes.
what you're good at and what you love and what you
Mhm.
don't, and then give up the power over those things. All right. So Jen and I had our little conversation, and it was about a free enter to win opportunity that Miller's Lab has provided, and she's arranged for us. So the winner will receive $150 wall art credit for one art piece. And the way that you can apply is to go to the YouTube channel, the Profitable Photographer YouTube channel of this video, and leave a comment. And then I'll pick a winner based on the most fun or interesting comment or takeaway from this. Okay, so I have a last question for you. What would you like to leave people with? Or if there's some, in a sentence or two, something that you would have liked to have shared that I haven't asked you yet. So this is your chance for your final thoughts.
I would like to see everybody giving back to everybody. I don't mean necessarily just to your community, but I mean to other photographers. I mean, it really is a rising tide lifts all boats. We all think that the photography industry is saturated. It's not. Not if you're, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're giving them a different experience, than what they get in your area, things like that. It's not. But also, I think a lot of people are starting, because there's so many people doing photography, we're afraid to teach others what we know and what we do. And the problem with that is I think we're getting all these really uneducated photographers out there, and that's teaching people that bad photography is okay. And so I really think we need to be lifting everyone up, even if that means we have 100 photographers. You just need to learn to set yourself apart. And, don't worry about pricing yourself the same. Don't worry about what they're doing. Stay in your lane. Michael Phelps was the best swimmer ever because he wasn't worried about what anybody else was doing around him. He's staying in his lane. And so it's one of those things but he also is a great coach. He was trying to lift up everybody around him. So, don't be worried about teaching people. Do it. It's just going to make you better. Plus, it forces you to step up your game.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jen. So if people want to check out her website, jenhargrovephotography.com is where you'll see all that good stuff. And her email, if you want to ask her a question, is jenhargrovephotography@yahoo.com. So thank you so much. I think you've blown
Thank you for having me.
people's minds, including mine, with this new idea, whether it's a mini session or something that people offer, these adult male fantasy. Oh, wait, don't search for that though. Or you
don't search for that. No, I wouldn't search for that.
Warning. All right. Well, we're saying adieu.
Thank you so much.
So long. Farewell.
Bye.
Jen Hargrove.
Bye.
You have been listening to The Highly Profitable Photographer with Luci Dumas. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, review, and share. To connect one-on-one and learn more about our coaching programs, just go to lucidumascoaching.com. Until next time, go have fun photographing and selling your work.